Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here, weatherweb.net on Monday the 27th of January. Thanks again for watching. Just to remind you that the site is all kept free of charge by you, because you coming back and using the site and using the charts, etc., and watching the videos means that we can put more adverts in front of you, and it's those adverts that generate the revenue that keep the site free of charge. So thanks for keep coming back, thanks for using the site, and thanks for telling your friends about us. And my mission all the way through this has been to try and just show you a little bit more about weather and the information that you don't normally see on TV or in radio and newspaper forecasts. Just give you some background as to what's going on, and hopefully you'll agree that we do achieve that most of the time. This is the forecast temperature for Birmingham for the next 15 days. It's from the GFS model, and it's from the ensemble model of the GFS. And an ensemble basically takes lots of slightly different starting points of the same model and then runs them out to several days ahead, and then the idea is that you take an average of all of those model runs and it gives you a better forecast than just looking at the one on its own. And what this shows here, look, is quite clearly this temperature fall during this week. Look, cooler conditions coming through, much cooler conditions by the end of the week and into the weekend. We get a taste of winter. I don't think it's going to be particularly snowy, but there will be some snow flurries around, particularly over eastern and central areas. I think tend to just be rain and drizzle towards the south and the east, but some bitter winds coming in for a couple of days. Then though, look, through the weekend and into next week, we see a rise in temperature as temperatures actually recover to nearer the sort of values that they have been at. Now, there is some debate over exactly how mild they become when temperatures pick up. I suspect they'll still be on the cool side, but that overall trend of a dip in temperature, a brief snap of cold weather, and then an upward push is probably about right. Notice though where the green bars here, which are rainfall, see how they continue to look right the way through, indicating that the month stays unsettled. Well, at least the beginning of February stays unsettled. Just want to show you this one. This is quite an interesting chart. This is the sea surface temperature anomaly chart from the 2nd of January. And just notice, look, a couple of interesting things. Cool waters here in the Pacific. Also warm waters here coming into the east of South America. Also, look, the area of warm, cold, and then warmer than normal air across the Atlantic. And it's interesting to see how these have changed within the month, because if we then take a look at the same anomaly chart, but this is for the 27th of January, notice what's happened here. Our cooler air in the Pacific, our cooler water here, water in the Pacific, the negative anomaly there has grown. Also, we've seen a shift northwards of the warmer water here off the east of South America. And we've seen a deepening of the cold conditions here through the central part of the Atlantic. So colder than normal conditions, but interestingly, look how warm it is further north. Now, what's happening here is basically it's this push of winds, these westerly winds that have been coming across the Atlantic actually makes the more northern parts of the Atlantic warmer than normal, but the mid parts of the Atlantic colder than normal. Mid parts of the Atlantic would be into southwesterlies normally, and kept warm because of that. And also towards the north there, we tend to get a flow more from a west or northwesterly direction, keeping things cooler there. But that's not happened this year with that straight westerly flow, which just means that there's quite a contrast in anomalies between north and south. But actually what it tends to do is to flatten out the mean temperature. So it looks more dramatic than it actually is. Now, next set of charts I wanted to show you today, these are from the Beijing Climate Centre, and just interesting to see how they're seeing things through the month of February. This is the precipitation anomaly, and it's a forecast that was produced on the 26th. So it's a forecast from yesterday, from Sunday, and this is for the first 10-day period, taking us up to the 4th of February. And just interesting to note, look, this is the anomaly of precipitation, and it's showing us here, look, across the UK, across northern France, northern Spain, and across France, and actually Europe continues over here, look, across much of Central Europe. It's showing us figures of up to 150% or more of normal rainfall during this 10-day period, which looks absolutely on the cards. I mean, the risk of local flooding late on again this week is very, very real. Temperature-wise, well, they do it in categories. So what they're showing us here, look, is that for the next 10 days, they're actually hinting at temperatures at normal, to colder than normal. Remember, this is a 10-day period, and if they're picking up on that rise in temperatures as well from about the second to third onwards, then actually they're probably not too wide of the mark in terms of temperatures being normal to just below normal for the time of year. 500 millibar flow shows why. I mean, just this strong jet stream, look, coming in across the Atlantic with anomalous low heights across the Atlantic, anomalous high heights here mid-Atlantic, and the result of that is it just strengthens this jet stream. So let's get further ahead. Let's take a look at the second 10-day period. So this runs from the 5th of February through to the 14th of February, so up to Valentine's Day. And this is something that we've been watching fairly closely. So this takes us up to Friday the 14th. And this is precipitation. Again, categorised precipitation. And look, it's making us blue, so it's bringing us up to wet conditions across much of the UK. And it goes for temperatures hovering around about normal. And what it does is it actually builds the ridge slightly down towards the south, look, but keeps the jet stream going, hence the reason for wet weather, but tends to want to bring the winds more into a west or southwesterly direction, so making it mild as we head into this period into February, heading into the middle of the month. And that looks pretty reasonable. Notice too the strength of the ridge it's building out here, look, in the Pacific, leading to a trough across the eastern states, but then a ridge across the western states, sorry, but then a ridge across the eastern states, and that's what leads to our trough here, our resultant trough close to the UK. And then we get on to the period from the 15th to the 24th of February, and what that shows quite interestingly, if we just zoom in close to the UK, look, is drier than normal conditions Ireland and Scotland, near normal conditions or slightly wetter than normal conditions across England and Wales, but wet conditions here, look, across France and Spain. And it also shows us, when we look at temperature for the same period from the 15th to the 24th, so just to remind you, this is the 15th through to the 24th of February, it shows normal to near normal temperatures, look, across the UK, across France and across Spain. So it's making it colder again during this period. And look at the 500 millibar flow, it explains why. Trying to build quite a big ridge across the eastern states, up over Newfoundland, down through Greenland as well, and then what it tries to do is to build a big trough down over the southeastern parts of the UK into northern parts of France. Now, what would happen there is that would bring in a northeasterly wind. Let's just zoom in and take a look at that. That would lead us into the sort of pattern where we'll have low pressure off here, winds rotating around the low, bringing in this northeasterly wind, making us cooler. It would bring rain across the south of the UK, but would certainly make the north drier. So this period from the 15th to the 24th is looking increasingly cooler and more unsettled across the south once again. So another bite of winter could come in here, and we could be looking at some sleet and some snow. And then between the 25th of February, and this takes us up into the 6th of March, this is precipitation again, and it goes for nearer normal conditions across the country, slightly wetter than normal across Scotland, but generally nearer normal conditions, with temperatures starting to get back to near normal too. What it highlights is how strong this trough could be as well, because even during this period, look, we've still got low the normal heights to the south, but probably what happens is during this period that low slips off. Yes, we still get this northeasterly flow, and there is still this ridge in the Atlantic here, so it makes kind of that shape from the 500 millibar flow. But I think what will happen is that eventually this ridge just kind of builds back in and gets through us and brings more of a west to west southwesterly flow and warms things up. But given this is the period up to the 6th of March, it's probably going to be from around about the 1st of March onwards that we see that gradual warming taking place. So some interesting results there coming in from the Beijing Climate Centre, and all of them make absolute sense. So I must admit I'm quite in favour of that forecast, and the the patterns that it's suggesting, the guidance that it's giving, look to be reasonable to me. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching weatherweb.net. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter at WXWeb at any time. But for now, keep the sun shining. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.